right, welcome back to Realty Check. I am your host, Amanda Freeman, your Sacramento realtor.
What's up, Lenny, your resident loan officer here. Sorry if our mood sounds a little down. The world's on fire. How about yours?
Yep.
You know what? Let's just get this going. Amanda, are you crying or thriving this week?
How about screaming into the void nonstop?
Yeah.
Like, to an extent that I reached out to you a couple of days ago and I said, hey, I know that we have a podcast recording coming up. I'm not going to be able to do, I really don't think that I can handle the topic that we were going to discuss.
Yeah.
I think that we need to take a pause and have a moment and talk about how being a parent, being a business owner, being an American is political, and just allow us to feel our feelings for a day and then share that with our listeners.
I mean, this is something that you and I talk about this more than we talk about really anything else right now.
Yeah.
I mean, this really like engulfs our conversation as friends. I mean, yes, obviously we talk about real estate. Yes, we talk about parenting. We talk about, having our kids at the same school. But I would say the majority of our conversation right now is about what is happening in the world and, just trying to hold space for one another. And so I'm really glad that we're doing this episode.
Me too.
This episode doesn't have as set of a
structure
as we usually have. But as she said earlier, being a parent is inherently political. Like, end of sentence. Like, truly. We are raising the next generation. Mm-hmm. We are the ones who are, creating the world that they are going to have in the future. Mm-hmm. And so us choosing to either be silent, be vocal, be involved in our community, be not involved in our community, where we buy our things for our family, because let's face it, most of us usually, if you're in a cis marriage, you're the woman, the wife is usually one planning most of those things. And so, we are the ones making all of those decisions as the home manager.
So just keep layering on all of the mental burden and mental.
Yeah. But then on top of it, right now, it's even crazier.
Yeah.
I mean, we were dealing with what was going on in the rest of the world, and we knew that things were happening in our country, but, we were all I was really held up on what was happening in the Congo and in Palestine, and I was really focused on those. And, obviously I knew things were happening here, especially when, last year, everything in LA went down, but now I'm feeling banana hammocks.
One of the things that I wanted to talk about, because I think it's a little bit to your point of where your eyes were before, is I think that there is something that's a little bit different about our generation, about our time, is access to video, access to the camera in our hand. The fact that if you have a phone, you have a recording device. And I don't want to discredit, because I hope it's obviously by the time that we record this, because I hope that something massive that's not related to ICE hasn't happened and people think that we're talking about something aside from what's going on in Minnesota right now. But as of this moment, it's what's happening in Minnesota that is on our mind. So what I want to say is very clearly, ICE has been killing people for a while.
Yeah.
That Renee Good and Alex Preddy are not the first people that have been killed by ICE and by this administration. I think, to me, what is shifting everything is to the fact that it was done on the street and there was a ton of photo and video evidence of it occurring. It's not it's one thing for us to hear about deaths in the detention centers and then for the administration to spin and say, well, here's what really happened. And for us to have nothing to counter it versus being able to see with our eyes. I don't know. I just think it just reminds me of, I think same with George Floyd, right? Yep. 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Where was I going with this? I think that what's different about this generation is to have that filming device in our hands at all times. And I think it's like our greatest weapon right now to resist.
Yeah.
But also, I think it's what's waking the most people up because they can't look away.
It is waking the most people up. And I think that obviously the current administration is trying to put out propaganda and misinformation about these people or these instances. But again, like you said, because we have the power of the phone and the recording device, we're able to instantly negate them.
Yeah.
On this subject of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, I know this is like, I don't know, I've talked to my therapist about this a lot actually, but like, I'm really happy, how do I say this? I'm really happy that people care about what's happening, but as a brown person, when things happen to people that look like me, it's not news. No one cares. And so I'm happy, don't get me wrong, I'm happy that people are caring. I'm happy that people are waking up. I'm happy that people in the NRA are finally like speaking out against this because now they're talking about their fucking guns. Yeah. I'm happy you guys care now. But at the same time, can we care when something happens to a 5-year-old Mexican boy? Yeah. Or can we care what happens to a family driving their car and they spray tear gas and there's a 6-month-old baby in the car? Can we care about those people too? Because I don't feel like they get as much notice.
As a white cis woman, I have a question for you because I need my worldview challenged if I'm wrong. So I'm like giving you permission right now to like challenge my worldview. Do you feel that, because I agree with you, that certainly once it affects the privileged people, if you will, that's like when they pay attention. But I also didn't see any video of some of these other things. Like, I don't see as many videos of the brown people getting, like, which is why I'm curious your thoughts, because like George Floyd, he was a black man.
Yeah.
But there was video evidence. And so it caused some outrage. The video evidence we have for this month were both white people. Do you think that's coincidence, or do you think that like it's only, please, I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Please tell me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I watch a lot of true crime podcasts, and I know this might sound like a weird tangent to say right now, but I watch a lot of true crime. I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, and they will always tell you that when a beautiful white cheerleader goes missing, it is just plastered on all the news channels all throughout the country.
Yeah.
But if right now there is a 16-year-old Hispanic girl who's missing here in Sacramento, and I haven't seen it on the news once. I haven't seen it. I've only seen it on social media from like brown issues, like Instagram channels that I follow.
Yeah, I had no idea.
And so that's something that I think is that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Even right now, there are influencers, not political influencers, but influencers in general who have stayed out of this conversation. But now that it's affecting certain people, now they're speaking up. And so they're sharing these videos. And so they're reaching a whole other demographic of people. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think the layman person is purposefully missing the brown people who are being killed.
Yeah.
I just don't, even though there is video, I just don't think it's as shared outside of certain circles.
Systemic racism.
Yeah. And I know that I come from a point of privilege, right? Like, I live in a middle-class neighborhood, right? I English is my first language. I do not have an accent. Like, I've been surrounded by like white neighborhoods most of my life. Like, I know I come from a certain level of privilege, but it's just like upsetting to think that if I was, in a different neighborhood or different situation, that this could happen to me. And it's angering to think that just because of where I am, I'm treated differently.
Yeah.
And it's scary. Like, I watched a video the other day of like a 12-year-old Asian boy, like talking about his soccer tournament and how people were saying ridiculously awful things about him. And I look at my son And my son is a first generation American. His father's an immigrant from Vietnam. This is not like some like far away thing for me. This is my home, right?
Yeah.
And so I was the wife of an immigrant, and a lot of my friends are immigrants. My grandfather helped build the railroad connecting Mexico to the United States, and it's just like I think that even if this doesn't affect me, quote unquote, right now, seeing that it's affecting so many others makes me disgusted and angry. And again, I'm really happy that people care. I'm really happy that the NRA is finally realizing that
both can be true. Like, I think that, like, I just want you to hear, like, as your friend and as like someone with a background in therapy, like, you can hold both truths at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry because I understand that, like, as a white girl, I get it, but I don't get it. Yeah. Right? Like, I can care about it, but I can't. I don't know.
Like, for instance, when Donald Trump was running for his first presidency, his first term, I lived in Elk Grove, and my then boyfriend, my then fiance, and I were walking dogs in the neighborhood at night. It was like sunset, and we're just walking. We're not doing anything. I don't have anything political on. I'm in normal clothes, walking my dogs in my neighborhood. And someone in a giant lifted truck came over and started spewing slurs at us, and then blew like black smoke in our face as they drove away.
Oh, God.
And we weren't doing anything. Yeah. But that's something that I've had to deal with. I've had people tell me to go back to my own country.
Yeah.
I've had people, and
I think that's what I'm trying to say too.
And it's like crazy. It's crazy, right? And so
I don't experience it to the level that you do by just living and just existing. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but it's also crazy because I have to deal with all this. I'm crying. I'm upset. I'm mourning, right? But then my kid gets out of school at 2:00 and I have to smile.
Yeah.
And I have to ask how the day is. And I have to be whimsical and create moments of happiness and joy when I don't feel joy.
Yeah. I think that it's okay for both. Like, I definitely think I hear you and, like, agree that we have to parent, right? Like, we have to, their lives at this moment are still normal. Yeah. And so they don't understand why mom and dad might be having a really hard time. And so it's that balance between letting them see that something is bothering us and knowing that something is bothering us, but then also leaning into.
Yeah. But it's also kids. Like age appropriate conversations, right?
Yeah.
So like,
well, and that's privilege too, of what is age appropriate.
Yes, absolutely. That is privilege. It is. It's all like, this is just, sorry guys, this is all just like a big episode of us just like trauma dumping on y'all. But my child is 4. And so I have to consider age appropriate conversation. And again, this is a privilege because he doesn't have to deal with things as much, right? Mm-hmm. But like talking to him about how, hey, like he'll ask me about people on the, like, why don't they have homes? And I'm like, man. And so like talking about how like everyone deserves houses, everyone deserves food, everyone deserves to go to the doctor. And like, he gets it. He's 4 years old. He's like, yeah, like, why is this even a conversation in his head, right? Yeah. Or he came home after MLK and he was talking about it. And he was like, people didn't like him because he was black. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, why? And I was like, sometimes people just don't like people for how they look and it's not nice. And he's like, no, it's not nice. And so like, I'm just like, man, like if only everyone can think like my 4-year-old. Yeah. But yeah, like yesterday, Sacramento, we live in Sacramento. Sacramento was voting on whether to update the sanctuary city.
How did that turn out? I did send stuff in.
It passed and they sent it to legal, essentially.
Okay.
But it was hours upon hours, which really was really nice to hear. I mean, so I was watching it live. So that meant my child was watching it live with me. And we were cooking dinner, we were doing other things, but I just had it on. And it was just hours upon hours of people giving their comment about wanting Sacramento to uphold its values and to be safe for its people.
Yeah.
I wrote to my city council. I wrote to the mayor. I, left public comment, as did many other people I know, many other parents I know. It was being shared through parent channels, through Facebook, and through a text message in my circles. And so it was really nice to hear, but my child's watching it all, and he's listening to it, and he's asking me questions the entire time. And at first I thought maybe I should just have this on like a headphone. And then I thought, no, I don't need this in a headphone. I need my child to see that this is part of it. Yeah.
I have a poem. Can I read a poem?
I would love for you to read a poem.
Okay. This came across my TikTok feed, I think.
Yeah.
And I really resonated with it because of like what we're talking about, of the dichotomy of trying to live our everyday of being a parent.
Yeah.
But then also wanting to save the world. And just like how it feels impossible to do both.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a poem by Megan Whitlock. It's called Revolution and Rinsing Cups. I'd like to fight for human rights, but there's dishes to be done. There's wars to wage on bedtime, and there's laundry to be run. I want to scream in protest at the death, the blood, the loss. But the bus comes in a moment, and we've lost another sock. I want to feed the hungry. I want to house the poor. I want to show our neighbors that they're worth fighting for. I slept only a few hours and my mind is drifting off. Food is too expensive and the baby has a cough. I knew a child without a country, a stranger in his land, no papers over permission. He had nail marks in his hand. Father, forgive them, for they had no visa. There's no room in the inn, not with politicians busy with their more exciting sins. I'd like to march for freedom, to stand where brave ones stood, to shout against the tyrants who call their cruelties good. But everyone needs dinner, and the bills are overdue. So I raise my voice in whispers and I teach my kids the truth. I cannot light the barricades or storm the steps of power, but I will raise up my children who will see the final hour. I'd like to make a difference, to make them stop and think. I'd like to save our country, but there's dishes in the sink.
Yeah.
Doesn't that hit?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So that's Megan Whitlock. She is, I can only find her on TikTok going for Baroque, but I think that she actually wrote it a couple of years ago and it keeps resurfacing.
Yeah.
And it keeps being incredibly poignant every time. I didn't hear about it until recently, but.
That's a great poem. I'm so glad that you shared that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something I struggle with. I mean, you and I have talked about it before, right? So I wanted to go to a protest, but there was also a shooting in Portland. And so I was like really struggling with, like, I felt like I had to be out there, but at the same time I have a child. And like, you opened your arms and you said, you can leave your child here with me for a few hours so that you can go and do that. And it's like a real struggle, right? Because like, I want to be present. I want to be there for my kid, but I also want to be there for my country. And so it's like trying to struggle with that. And like, yeah.
Well, and I think about that same situation a lot because I feel as a white person that I should be the one going to the protests. I need to be like the person who is quote unquote safest, the white person. Should be the one putting themselves on the line. But I can't give that all the time right now. But what I can do is I can
be support.
I can be support. And which leads to another thing I wanted to talk about, if you don't mind. I feel like I don't want to be hogging all of our conversations.
You're not hogging this conversation.
Okay. But I think this really leads in well to the next thing I wanted to talk about. This was another post I saw on Instagram, and I don't know where it came from. I don't know where it originated. It was, this was on Reddit. It was on the Philadelphia subreddit, but I've seen it show up on Instagram too. It's the Anti-Performative ICE Resistance Guide and What Actually Helps. Have you heard have you seen this at all? Have you heard about
share
this?
it with me.
Okay. So it's just because it can feel so helpless, like in this moment, this post tried to give tangible things that people can do.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to go through this. Their first that they say is funding the work. So ICE enforcement succeeds in part because people cannot afford lawyers.
Yeah.
So set up recurring monthly donations, even if it's just $10 or $25, to trusted organizations like, this says RAICES.
If you're here in the Northern California area, I would say look into NorCal Resist. They offer so much legal support. So that would be a great one if you're local.
Yeah. They also have the National Immigration Project, Immigrant Defense Project, Legal Aid Justice Center, AMICA, AMICA, the ACLU, and then local immigration bond funds, and then they note here, those are the ones that matter the most. Is the local immigration bond funds. So prioritize the legal defense and the bond funds with your donations. And then they note in this post is that if your help disappears when the news cycle does, it's not helping as much as it could, which is a good kind of wake up call. So the next one, show up offline. Material ways that you can assist, be a court accompaniment, quiet presence and documentation, childcare or rides for families attending hearings, and translation support if you're fluent. Mutual aid coordination through existing networks.
Sorry, again, I'm not trying to, maybe I am trying to super plug NorCal Resist, but NorCal Resist, they host a monthly training on their Migra and Court Watch training, and they will give you tools to what to do if you come across immigration, what to do when you are at court. It was really awesome at court. Essentially what they do is they stand out there with clipboards, and if they see you going in, they get your contact information, your emergency contact information, and a few other things. And if they don't see you leave court, then they're contacting your emergency contacts for you, as well as like providing support, legal defense and things like that. They're a great organization locally. They cover all of Northern California, and I think down to Stockton.
Okay.
I think, it's like all the counties.
Like to the border up?
To Weed,
Wow.
California,
okay.
All the way up there.
I thought they were more local to us than that, so that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to keep going.
Yes, please. Sorry.
No. That's exactly what I want us to do. And again, the reason that I'm doing this is this is an episode to scream into the void, but I also don't want us to leave feeling helpless. I want to try to give actionable items that make people feel hopeful, not hopeless.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Protect those being persecuted from yourself. So well-meaning people can cause real harm. I thought this one was really interesting. They said, don't share raid rumors without verification. Which again, going back to NorCal Resist, I see them, they have like a way to
They have a hotline.
And at least in the Sacramento subreddit, they're pulling people's posts that comment of, I saw ICE, because it is better for that to go through NorCal Resist where it can be verified and be like, not just like a scare.
Yeah.
A jump scare, if you will.
Yeah, so NorCal Resist, they have like a literal group chat of like hundreds of people. And so when there is a possible sighting, they will have someone out there within minutes to verify if it's actually real or not.
And then they can alert.
And do what's needed.
Okay.
Rather than just causing fear and panic.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So then don't post locations, schedules, or identifying details. And don't pressure undocumented people to tell their story.
Yeah.
Do ask, does this increase their risk? And do default to privacy over visibility. Next one, build long-term infrastructure, not moments. ICE relies on exhaustion and isolation, and so we need to counter that. Sustainable actions offer ongoing skills such as admin help, grant writing, or meal trains, and help organizations maintain databases, follow-ups, and logistics. Next one is use your platform as a tool, not a stage. If you have reach, treat it like a scalpel, not a megaphone, which is interesting. So again, acceptable posting. Do direct links to vetted organizations. make clear calls to fund, volunteer, or attend specific actions, and amplify immigrant-led voices without additional commentary. The red flags, like for inner thinking and dialogue of like if I should post this or not. Are you using self-congratulatory language? Are you trauma reposting? I will admit that I have been trauma reposting out of anger. So I will work on not necessarily trauma reposting.
I do as well, but also I have to remind myself of, I'm from the Central Valley. There are people who follow me who do not live in Sacramento, in a more like liberal area. I think people think of California as like this big liberal state, but it's not.
Most of it is
where I'm from. It is not, baby.
Yeah.
And so I also have to remind myself that sometimes the things that I'm posting are their only thing that they know.
Yeah.
Outside of it.
Yeah. I think I try to think about like that's kind of where my head was of like, not that I have a ton of friends left from my days in Christianity, but like, you know, sometimes those can be echo chambers of hearing the same rhetoric over and over again, the Charlie Kirk crowd. Mm-hmm. And so similar to you is like, sometimes I think like maybe I can post to reach those people in a way that maybe they're not seeing, but also I just need to be careful about it. Yeah. And what are my intentions and how often am I doing it? And is it a helpful, or is it just one that people are going to roll their eyes at and say like, oh, there goes that mad liberal again. And then the other red flag they're saying is centering your fear, anger, or awakening. Pressure power where you actually have leverage because ICE doesn't operate in a vacuum. Effective pressure is your local officials, mayors, sheriffs, DAs. So like we were doing yesterday with really pressuring our council members to beef up us being a sanctuary city. Yeah. Employers who are compliant in raids. Employers complicit in raids. Oh, so
like Home Depot.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. So like not shopping at Home Depot or putting pressure on the CEOs. And then same with landlords collaborating with enforcement. Things that are not effective are yelling at strangers online. And then vague abolish ICE posts with no local follow through. And then this is the page. This last one is the one that I like the most because it says decide your risk level and then act accordingly because not everyone can do everything. Yeah. And this kind of speaks to that, what started this conversation of like you going to the protest and me staying home with the kids. Yeah. So things that you can do that are low risk. You can donate, you can translate, you can do admin support, and you can do childcare. Medium risk are the court accompaniment. Is that accompaniment? Yes. Accompaniment. Thank you. Words are hard sometimes. And community organizing. And then high risk, which as parents, I don't know how much high risk we can tolerate. Yeah. Is civil disobedience and only with training and legal prep. Yeah. So very similar to what Alex Preddy was doing of like being a legal observer and being there. And obviously high risk. Yeah. So
and just because there's a low to high doesn't mean that one is more important than the other.
Yes.
And I think that's something that we have to remember as well. Yes. Is like just because you are not out there does not mean that you watching my child is any less important because I couldn't be out there unless you were watching my child that day.
You're going to make me cry. Yeah.
But it's the truth.
I know. It feels less than, but it's not. But it is a reminder that like the resistance needs everyone.
It needs everyone. And there's all different levels of it. There really are.
I'm sorry. I'm just like, I love you. I love you too. Oh my God. Okay.
I'm really big right now, and I think we've talked about it, but like I've talked about like what my words are for this year, and one of my words is community. Yeah. And I do not have sway at the federal level, right? Like, unfortunately, sorry to burst everyone's bubble. They're not calling to ask me my opinions on things, although I think they should.
They should. Anyways, they're missing out not having Liddy.
But anyways, what I can control is my community. And so this year I've been wanting to do more with my community. So I held a New Year party and like, I know that might sound silly and you're like, how is that benefiting anything? But it is benefiting, right?
Well, it's also like learning your neighbors.
It's learning
You're
your
learning
neighbors.
who to look out for when time does come.
Yep. And so like, I think right now, kind of like what you were saying earlier about who to donate to, I feel like right now, if you are fearful on like, or you don't know where to start by talking to your literal next door neighbor.
Yeah.
Just like talk to them.
Yeah.
Like knock on their door. If you have some leftovers or something you made extra of, offer it. I mean, just beefing up your community like presence, I think is going to do so much.
Yeah. I think that's great advice. Yeah.
On a different topic, we're also business owners.
Yeah.
We are business owners during this time, and I've really thought about like, should I talk about this? Should I not talk about this? But I want to be really honest. Interest rates are lower when the world is on fire. And
We can't have it all.
it makes me feel super shitty.
Yeah.
It makes me feel super shitty. It makes me feel shitty that I work in an industry where essentially we benefit when things are going bad.
Yeah.
That's really shitty. It's something I struggle with, and it makes me feel like, you know, sometimes like, oh, do I like what I do? But all in all, I do like what I do. And I want to make sure that I leverage this time to help people that need help.
Right.
But it's something that I constantly think about. And it's something that...
You know, it's interesting because it benefits the privileged again, huh?
Yeah.
So then it again keeps those negative cycles going, because who are the people who can take advantage of those low interest rates, and who are the people who can?
Well,
it's the people who are not being affected, who are not like Maslow's level. What is that? Maslow's level of hierarchy, where like it's, you know, first you're focused on food and a place to put your head down, and then like at the very top it's like, you know, enlightenment.
Or like, for instance, in May of 2025, they changed it, and people who are permanent residents can no longer qualify for FHA loans, right? And so I have clients that have over a 7% FHA loan, and they would love to refinance or sell their home and buy a bigger home for their families, but they can't, because even though for years they've been able to do this, now they can't.
Yeah.
So they have a shackle on their hand with a higher interest rate. All because of a law change in May of 2025. And so it's just, these are things that I constantly think about.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. I mean, it just is what it is. And then also I think about it of like, I want to participate in things, you know, like I can obviously choose not to go grocery shopping and things like that. But the thing is, like, I work in mortgage. And so this client of mine wants to buy their house and close on a certain time. And I'd like to not work on this day to participate in the blackout. But at the same time, I know that I have to, so that this person can close on their house on time so that they can provide for their family. And so it's a really crazy, delicate dance that I do in my head right now. And so, and this is just being really honest with you guys, right? Like, these are things that I have to think about, and like, it makes me feel crummy, but also I understand, like, I can have both feelings, like you said earlier. Yeah. So I can know that I'm helping out this family because they need to get out of this certain situation and close on their house on time. But also know that, like, I want to participate. So I'm participating at the level I can, right? And
yeah. And I mean, I think that, because I feel like small business owners are almost exempt from a blackout, if you will. Like, because those are the voices that need to be amplified, and those are the people that need to be not affected by a blackout. I can see your dilemma, though. I feel like, I think you're doing okay. Like, I think you're doing okay.
I know. It's just something I struggle with.
I mean, maybe if you don't want to prospect that day, you don't have to prospect that day.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you can still care for your people, because your job is caring for your people.
Yeah. And I think it's just something I struggle with. I have a hard time because my brain kind of thinks in black and white sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like all or nothing. Like you've been my friend for a certain amount of time now. You now realize I'm very like, once I'm doing it, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And so struggling.
I got to try to pull you into the gray every once in a while.
I know.
Not super successfully, but
I appreciate it. And so, but like, this is something that I am currently navigating in the gray, and it makes me feel weird.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay for me to feel weird right now because in my head, I guess I think me feeling weird about it means that I'm caring or even thinking about it. Right.
Yeah.
And
it's like that saying of like the parent who thinks that they're doing an awful job raising their kid, and it's the fact, and that like their kid doesn't think that they love them enough or whatever. And the fact that you even have that thought cross your mind means that you're an amazing parent.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a similar thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this is things that I think about, right?
Yeah.
Because heck yeah, I'd love to just throw everything to the wind and just be out there, fighting the good fight. But also, I have to do the dishes. I have to pay all the bills for my house. I have to do all these things, right? Like, and so it's just making it work.
Yeah. Being a single mom, there's even like another level of complexity to that.
Yeah. But I'm happy that I have community. I think this is a brag on my end, but
brag
that I am really, really lucky to have the community that I have. I mean,
you've cultivated something incredible around you.
I have an amazing community.
And I'm so lucky that I get to be a part of it.
You are in my community. And so like, I can send a group text out to a bunch of parents to request money for an admin who's going to be out. Like I can lean on you to watch my kid and pick up because I'm going to be running late from a meeting. Like I can call another parent and be like, hey, can my child have a play date for a few hours so I can work an open house for 2 hours? Like I am so lucky that I have those things. I'm so lucky that I have neighbors that will text me and be like, what's for dinner tonight? And they'll just show up and I'll cook them dinner. Yeah. Like I feel beyond lucky that I have this community. And I just want everyone to know that you can have that community too. Like you don't have to be alone during this time. Like I know that we're yelling into the void, and I know you're probably yelling into the void too, but like talk to your neighbors, DM us, talk to people around you, because I feel like others are feeling the same exact way.
Absolutely. I have one more thing on my list.
Please.
Do you have any more things on your list?
No, that was it.
Okay.
That was all my voids.
Okay. I just have one more thing, again, trying to be somewhat actionable because okay. So my prior life was being a board certified behavior analyst. Data is my everything.
Yeah.
I laugh with my friend Ashley. Hi, Ashley. Thanks for listening. I love you. I laugh with my friend Ashley because I will be watching Real Housewives. And then while I'm watching it on the screen, I'm on my phone going down the Reddit rabbit holes of like, okay, and now what's the tea behind this? And like I'm piecing things together behind the scenes. And while I'm watching it in real time, I'm just very big on data. So I'm constantly collecting information. I, collect it from TikTok, Instagram, Substack. Those are like my 3 big ones, which TikTok is being a little suspicious lately, but after that switch of ownership, now it's acting real suspicious.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. As soon as that message that said "Thank you, Donald Trump" popped up on my screen, I deleted the app.
I don't blame you.
I was like, and I'll be really honest. I was getting a lot of clients from TikTok, so that was a hard decision to make. I mean, I made the decision, but like when it's a revenue for your family and. That was a tough one. That was tough. Sorry.
I'm just going to pivot for a second because that reminded me, because people right now, it's a lot of people are saying like, I need to get off the app. Obviously it's suppressing, but something someone said on social media was don't comply in advance. I thought that was really interesting.
Don't comply in advance.
So don't give them what they want in advance. Don't lose your voice on the platform in advance until they take it from you. I find that interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting thought. Okay. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So I want to share where I get my news sources from because I'm a big data collector. I just want to share a little bit of like which I think in our day and age, it's like these little niche news outlets or content creators. Like that's very common to be getting news from that. So my big three, Heather Cox Richardson. Are you familiar with her?
Yes.
Okay. Heather Cox Richardson, for those that are not familiar with her, she is a historian. She is she does this daily newsletter titled Letters from an American. And it's, because she's a historian, she wants other historians 100 years down the road to have a good source of information of like
Chronological.
what the happened and like what was all going on.
You put me on her a few weeks ago, actually.
Yeah, I really like listening to her because she helps ground me, especially when things feel super overwhelming, to be like, hey, let's look at this in historical context of like, when has it been like this before, or who, like, yeah, hey, it sucks that this is our reality and this is what we have to fight through in our generation, but we're not the first generation to have to fight through something hard.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel reading her stuff. And so that it gives me hope in that regard. Another person that I get news from is Sharon McMahon.
I don't know.
Her little spiel is she's America's government teacher. So she used to be a teacher. And then it might have even been during COVID that she switched. And she was like just giving people general information about how the government functions. And that has turned into this huge, much bigger platform. She has like a couple million people on Instagram that follow her, where she talks about like democracy and government and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So love following her. And then my third one is Mo Shwanunu or Mo News on on Instagram. And he used to be a producer for Fox News, I think. He has been in the business. He was in the news business for a while, and then he kind of spun off to be like a content creator, news producer type person. So he disseminates all of the different viewpoints of like all the different angles of what's going on in the world or what's going on in the country. He does a really good job. And his tagline is like just the facts. So I those are like my top three that I'm constantly going to multiple times a day. I'm checking in with all of them. And then my next tier are people that I listen to, but most definitely have a lean and let their opinions be known. Oh, Sharon lets her opinions be known as well, and so does Heather. But like to a greater extent. This next tier. So Aaron Parnas, he's the breaking news guy, and sometimes I feel like he jumps the gun a little bit, but I at least like to listen to him to know like what might be going on, like what might be coming up in the news. And I listen to him with a grain of salt of like, I'm not going to panic over what he's saying, but I am going to be cognizant and aware of what he's saying. V from Under the Desk News. She is, they are a content creator who just does like a roundup of what's going on in the country. And then Emily in Your Phone is a lawyer who used to work for like Chuck Schumer. And so she actually has a book that I need to read. I haven't read it yet, called Democracy in Retrograde, about like how to help save democracy. Mm-hmm. But she's another good one. So those are like my three of...
Can we share these in the show notes for this episode for people as well? Yeah. I think that'd be really helpful.
Absolutely. And then the last two that I want to talk about, which are kind of my lowest tier, the first one is Amanda Nelson. I think her handle is Amanda's Mild Takes, and she takes her resistance. Part of her resistance is comedy, and so like she has a segment called Trump's L's for the week, and every Tuesday she highlights all of the headlines of like, oh yeah, you tried to sue this person and that didn't work, and you tried to do this and it didn't work. And it's like really refreshing. Like sometimes you just need that, like, I just need to see you lose. I just need to see all of the ways that you're not being successful here. And then the last one is, his handle is Politico Joe. And he stitches a lot of like, MAGA influencers, and he'll kind of like, he'll play their clip and then stitch why their statement or their thought is like so not on track. And so anyway, I just wanted to share that because I'm so into the details and into the data. If people are unsure of where to go to get like Hope Core, if you will, these are some of the places that I go.
Not Hope Core, but a great one to follow is Brown Issues. Their Instagram is called just Brown Issues. They do a really good job of highlighting issues affecting brown people. And then if you are looking to get involved in protests or things like that, following any of the PSL sites. So
PSL?
Yeah, so PSL is it's the Party for Socialism and Liberation. I know that's very political here, but PSL Sacramento, PSL Los Angeles, PSL San Diego, they have a PSL for almost all major cities, and they will update you on what is going on like in your area for protesting.
That's good to know. Okay.
I think 5051 will also do that kind of stuff. I've kind of leaned away from them because I'm trying to think how I want to word this. I am a little skeptical about the fact that they gather so much data on the people going to these protests. It makes me it kind of worries me a little bit.
And they don't say who their names are behind it.
And they don't say their names who are behind it. And I have gone to a event here in Sacramento with 5051, and it was a hot summer day. Everyone was there with their signs, and the person running it essentially just said, "Do we really want to march today?" And I just feel like that's such a fucking point of privilege to decide not to care that day. And I was livid, and I made it very, very obvious I was livid. So that's my 2-3 cents on that.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think what's also good is we're talking about a very wide range of ways of like places that people can get information, and then it's like, where does that cross information go? Yeah. And once you get that cross information, I feel like that's when it becomes more powerful or more poignant. Yeah. If that makes sense. Like when a protest is actually happening or whatever.
And NorCal Resist is great too. Yes. NorCal Resist is absolutely great to follow. Like I said, they essentially cover all of Northern California from Stockton up. There are other organizations when you get into your area. If you're in California, if you reach out to NorCal Resist, they should be able to connect you with your local reach too.
Perfect. I have to say that my heart hurts a little bit less. Like this was like a really good therapy session for me.
A really good therapy session. And it didn't cost me money. Like my usual therapy sessions. Just kidding. Robin, I love you. I'm going to continue paying for you forever and ever. But also I just need a little extra sometimes.
Yeah. No, it's just really putting it out there for everyone to know where we stand.
So this is us. This is who we are. Yeah. We're not hiding behind it. We're not like, tiptoeing around it, the topic. Like this is how we feel. And the thing is, this is how a lot of people are feeling right now, and you're not alone. And I think that's the big thing is we wanted people to know they're not alone with these feelings. And I really liked that poem that you shared. So thank you for bringing that.
You're welcome.
Thanks for being my friend.
Thank you for being my friend.
And thank you, Doc, for being a good dog.
He's a good puppy. Even though you're really loud during the recordings, even though you're so loud.
We'll get back to our normal episodes after this one. So we'll still have feelings throughout those sometimes, but we just want to let you know where things are, and I'm so glad that we did this together. Yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to us, and hopefully you're coming away from this a tiny bit more hopeful than you were when you started. Cheers. Bye. See ya.